Gaga!
Thank you, Juan and Tiffany. We hope everyone is enjoying the show so far. You know what's next, Lady Gaga. I am Marianaro.
I am Leslie Arroyo.
And we are the co-directors of Cultural Rhythms.
And we are so excited to move into the artist conversation part of the night that is being led by 3 Harvard Foundation interns. Please take it away.
Hello, Lady Gaga. It is truly so exciting and such an honor to be here with you today. My name is Nylith Lopez Lopez. I am a current junior at the college, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Hello. Hi, Lady Gaga. It's so wonderful to be here with you. My name is Aaron Abai. I'm a senior here at the college, and I'm from Littleton, Colorado.
Hi, Lady Gaga. My name's Derek Ochiaga. I'm also a senior at the college, and I'm from New York City.
So,
New York City.
The city, yes.
New York City. I'm born and raised from New York.
Oh, yes.
Well, it's so nice to meet you, Nylith, Aaron, and Derek. Thank you so much for having me here today, my friends.
Thank you so much. So, Lady Gaga, when I first found out you were going to be our Artist of the Year, one of my first thoughts was your incredible range as an artist, since you truly embody what it means to be a multi-hyphenate. So with that in mind, I would love to know, how do you make sure you nurture each one of your many passions?
Well, first of all, that's a beautiful sentiment. Being called a multi-hyphenate is, I think, something that is actually quite complicated and interesting to talk about, because early in my career, this was very confusing to people that I met. When I would meet record executives, if I met people that were even running nightclubs that had different kinds of acts that they would have come and perform. I used to meet various people of all walks of life, and they would say, we don't quite understand exactly what you do. So I went down the path of really giving all of myself to music. But while I studied music, I studied many other things. So what I postured out to the outside world was my musical passion and love. But at the same time, what I would say is the way that I have garnered this career for myself is discipline. And I really believe strongly in discipline. I believe in studying. I believe that practice doesn't make perfect, but it does make permanent. And I think also endlessly being a student. You know, I think that some of you there at Harvard, you might even be teaching some classes. You might moonlight as a teacher for some professors. And the truth is, I live every day as a student. I'm always learning. I'm always remaining curious. I'm always seeking out not just new information, but new perspectives and new ways of thinking. I've been singing jazz since I was a really young girl, but even after singing with Tony Bennett for 10 years, I still feel like I'm learning all the time. You're delving into new records by Dinah Washington or Oscar Brown Jr., you know, something that speaks so effortlessly to my heart. I still know that I must do the work. So what I would say is something that has been complicated for me my entire career is also part of what just makes me who I am, which is somebody that loves to live a dynamic artistic life. And I don't feel that I have to do one thing. And if you put your passion as well as your vision for life above all things, you can live congruent with your values. And when you're living in your values, you stop chasing other people's ideas of who you are, and you start defining it for yourself. But I want to also give this whole answer to you with a caveat, which is that I have the privilege to do so. And I understand that. And not everybody has the privilege just to dabble in whatever they truly feel to do. And I honor that. And as part of my life's work, I've made sure to study hard, to be a part of many different artistic mediums, while also being a very steadfast activist and philanthropist. And my love for the LGBTQ plus community and for a truly beloved community and liberated world is something that is deep in my heart. And I think that if you're going to live a dynamic life that's very, in some ways, self-centric at times, it's all about how you feel, all about how you think, your intellect, what your perspective is. If you're going to live that type of life, I think it is very important also to right alongside it, make sure that you're always working in the spirit of humanity and listening, being really good at listening.
Wow. Thank you so much for those incredibly inspirational, resonant, and wise words. I am so thankful for that response. And now I'm going to pass it on to Aaron for our next question.
Thank you, Nyla. Hi, Lady Gaga. It is such an honor to be with you here today. I wanted to ask you about unlearning. I know at your acceptance speech at the King Center Beloved Community Award, you talked about unlearning as sort of a foundation for building a global community centered in liberation and injustice and justice. And I actually watched that speech this morning, and I was so moved by your words, just completely brilliant things that you had to say. So I wanted to ask you what unlearning means to you, and how do you practice that in your day-to-day life?
Well, thank you for that question. I think very fondly of the Beloved Community and of Dr. Bernice King. For me, unlearning is a very personal process. And I want to answer you by beginning in grounding in vulnerability, that this is an inside job. And I want to speak to the people in the audience that are listening and say that I'm talking to you white people that are listening. I'm talking to other people who look like me. And this is an inside work for you to do, for me to do, for us to do together. And what unlearning means to me is, what are all the ways that we're speaking today with Harvard, right? So we're in the center of an education system. All of this is predicated on the idea that we're here to learn and grow. But what are the ways, since we were very, very young, that we were taught all sorts of things that were built upon a sick system? A system that is inherently racist, a system that is inherently sick with white supremacy and patriarchy. So unlearning for me has been about how do I sit in this process? Who am I in this process? And looking at the systems all around me, understanding what are the ways that I collude with these systems? What are the ways that I benefit from these systems? What are the ways in which I'm either contributing or trying to dismantle these systems? And I'm not going to be able to do it by myself. So I believe it very important in my unlearning process to really signal, as I speak to the white students that are listening, that working in spaces of white affinity to have these conversations are a great way to begin the process of unlearning. And how do I do it? In every moment of my life, I try to racialize that moment. And I notice the way people speak to each other. I notice the way people make eye contact or don't make eye contact with each other. I notice the way that my businesses function. What are the ways that capitalist environments are opportunities for us to dismantle sick systems? And what are the ways in which we are constantly colluding with the sick system and keeping ourselves ill? So this for me is an inside work. It's a beautiful work, and as an example, so that I can give you something potentially tangible to take with you, a personal story. I feel that since I was young, I learned in school and I learned in society that being colorblind was the way to be. And I have unlearned this sentiment to understand that seeing color is essential. Because when you see color, you see all the life around you. You learn about people's families, you learn about people's culture, you learn about where people come from, why we're all different, and how we all work together and how we don't sometimes, that dissonance. And it's, I think, one of the most beautiful things I've ever been able to encounter as a personal journey was to understand the way that I learned that thing that was keeping me and so many of us sick, and how I can every day of my life practice seeing color and celebrating color abound. And I also would beckon other white students that are listening to me speak to ask yourselves, what are the ways that you are unconsciously incompetent? What are the ways in which you are consciously incompetent, meaning when you know that you're ignorant? There's unconscious incompetence. There is unconscious competence. And then there is conscious incompetence and conscious competence. Understanding those four things and how they affect your life, those biases, these are parts of the ways that we learn and unlearn and grow. But for me, I want to make it clear. I like to speak specifically to white people who look like me and say that this is our work to do in the building of a beloved community and a truly liberated world. And it's not going to happen overnight. So we got to keep talking to each other, and we got to care. And you know, words matter and feelings matter. And I can't tell you how much this work has been a blessing to my life. And I long for it for so many, for people around me that I know and love, white people. And something I also feel that I have spent a lot of time unlearning, that there are centuries of unearned power that we have to morally heal from. And the truth is, I think that the beginning of that process has to begin with us understanding that we were born with unearned power, that it was handed to us. And once you understand that, you begin to center yourself and understand the work that you need to do for you. And it's not about preaching to everybody else. So I want to just be clear. I'm sharing these sentiments, but ultimately this work lies within me, and it's my job to do for myself and for humanity.
Thank you, Lady Gaga. I really appreciate your vulnerability, and I think you're such a natural teacher, so thank you for teaching us and for teaching the world. I'm going to pass it on to Derek for the next question.
Hi, Lady Gaga. I can't overstate the fact that you are an icon for the LGBT community, and your work with the Born This Way Foundation promotes compassion and kindness for all identities. And I want to know why social activism and advocacy is so important to you.
You know, in the simplest way, I want to tell you, I don't even know. I don't even know why. It's just so important to me, but my God, it is. It is so important to me. I acknowledged very soon in my career that I noticed that the fans that were coming to my shows were members of the LGBTQ+ community. I remembered also and recalled that when I was young, I had a lot of friends that were members of that community. A lot of friends that didn't even know yet that they were members of that community, who we would all discover later. And as I discovered this about my life, I realized that I didn't want my relationship with the audience to be transactional. It did not feel right to me to make music and have somebody buy a ticket to see my show and have the only thing that I had to offer be the music. But I do wish to say that can be enough. There are amazing, world-renowned, incredible artists that are putting music into the world every day that's changing the atmosphere and that's changing who we are. But there was more that I wanted to do because I wanted the audience to have the same rights that I had. And when I looked out into the audience and I understood that Don't Ask, Don't Tell had not yet been repealed, that there was not marriage equality, that there was still so much injustice all over the world, I knew that it was part of my commitment to the audience that I pour my life and my life's work into making sure that I do everything that I can to make this world a kinder place. Because people deserve love and people deserve to be treated equally. And we have to make that happen as a unit. We have to move as one body. When I think about the world, I think about us being one organism. And I know that the truth is that we're many organisms and we're all moving together and away from each other, and there's dissonance and there's harmony. But when I take a real far bird's eye view of the whole earth, I think to myself, we're all one body. And that one body deserves to be whole. And that one body, it deserves good things, and it deserves to be healthy. And I don't believe that the world can be a truly healthy place if some of us can have and some of us have not. I have met with kids all over the world who grew up in societies where being gay or being a member of the LGBTQ plus community inspired violence, homelessness, shame, mental illness, people having a real inability to feel like they can adequately live their lives to the fullest. And I don't think that there's anything more beautiful that we could give to each other as people than to have compassion and empathy for each other and to fight for each other. And that doesn't mean that it's always gonna work, that we're always gonna make it happen. But I think that working in that spirit and keeping that spirit with you in all your work, for me, it's made for a beautiful life in my heart. It also makes for a lot of heartbreak as you hear the stories. But I encourage everybody to know that what is the thing that has inspired me the most to do this work, or why? I guess after I say I don't know, I'll end my answer by saying it's the stories of millions of people. Hearing the stories of millions of people have made me want to make the world a better place. And the truth is, I didn't make the world a better place. People made the world a better place. But I think that artists, we have a unique ability to connect with other people, not just touch them, but to truly connect with them. And like I said before, like being good at listening. And I just feel very grateful here today. And I would say that speaking with the three of you reminds me why I do what I do, because I get to speak with people from all over the world that they want to make a difference. And the questions that you're asking me inherently tell me that you believe that the world deserves to be a better place and that we all have to do our part. You asked me good questions. You asked me hard questions. And these questions are real and they're authentic. So thank you. And so I guess the reason I do the work that I do is all of you, because I think in a way we all do this work for each other. And I don't think I'm special in that way. I think that I got a special award, but I wish I could give it to all of you.
Oh my gosh, Lady Gaga, you're too kind. And I want to say, you don't just say you want a better world. You show that you are ready to do the work to create that world every day. And it's an inspiration to us. So on behalf of all the interns, I want to say thank you for your art and for your service.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you for your service. And I wish all your families all the health and love and happiness in the world. I wish that for your friends. I wish that for your hearts and your souls. And I will carry you with me. And I hope this is not the last time that we meet. And next time I'm nearby Harvard, I'll come step by. And maybe we can have another chat about humanity.
Sing you in concert in August.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Lady
you
Gaga.
so much, Lady Gaga.
And God bless you. And as one last thing, because you guys are in school and because this is a curriculum that was developed by Born This Way Foundation, we now have offered to the world a free self-paced online class that's just 2 hours long. It's called BeThereCertificate.org. And it's a way to learn how to be there for people who are struggling with mental health issues. It's a wonderful curriculum, and it's something I'm very, very proud that we were able to do, and it's already touched so many people's lives. So for anyone at Harvard that is having a hard time or that knows somebody that's having a hard time, go to BeThereCertificate.org. And you will have a little bit of the Born This Way Foundation experience and how we believe in building a kinder and braver world.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Mwah.
Lady Gaga, I think I'm typically pretty A1 off the cuff, but I didn't want to fangirl and like get it wrong, so you'll forgive me for having my remarks printed. It was
You're
really,
so sweet.
it was really important to get this right. Being right is important at Harvard. We invited you here as our Artist of the Year to acknowledge your artistry, your ethical commitments, your debunking stereotypes, stretching boundaries, for reasons we thought and think were solid. And per typical Harvard, we knew we were right. No institution can always get it right. Harvard is considered a beacon of truth in the world, but it is built on stolen land by enslaved people or in part by the proceeds and benefits of enslaved people. There's much reckoning to be done about Harvard's past as it builds a foundation for a solid present and a viable future. So it's not really hyperbolic to say that each new commitment we make, each action that we take is either a step forward or a decision to walk in place. So we feel that, especially as we reimagine the Harvard Foundation, imagine what it should be and for whom we align ourselves and what we choose to amplify. Because Cultural Rhythms is one of the largest campus events of the year, in this reconvening year where we're all coming together again in person, it was especially important to get this right, and especially important to consider who we chose to honor. We knew that your artistry would draw a crowd, that you being a fashion icon would be compelling, et cetera. But if I may, your advocacy for queer and trans and non-binary folks, your commitments to mental and emotional health for young people in particular, your commitment to your own authenticity, which by any account must be really difficult, in your line of work and being in the spotlight, these were really reasons that we knew we were right and that we got it right in choosing to honor you and to have you with us. There was one Wednesday night when the Harvard Foundation interns were tossing around ideas for potential awardees and mulling this one over, et cetera, et cetera. And someone in the room noted that in honoring a celebrity, the Harvard Foundation would essentially be saying to the world, we are in agreement with this person. We stand beside this person in their quest. We hold this person up in the who, what, why, and how that they are. And this person cautioned, consider what the artist has done as a way to predict, although you can't, what they might do. Will the Harvard Foundation be excited to be aligned with this person as their career rolls forward? Many names sort of fell off the roll at that question. But I feel confident in speaking for the Harvard Foundation and many of my colleagues who do this diversity, education, inclusion work really tirelessly. Again, we knew we were right. So I think to say we're proud of you in advance, we're grateful for your dogged determination, we're excited to see what good trouble you get into next. And as with any partnership, our name is now beholden with yours in honoring you in this way. And so for that reason, we commit to work that you can also be proud of now and ever forward, inshallah. So thank you very much for being you and for being here with us.
Thank you so very much. That was so wonderful, Dean. I really appreciate you having me here today. And I would just like to echo back sentiments. I said before, hi, I'm Lady Gaga. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I'm very, very honored to be here today. And I believe very much in the work that you're doing. And I feel very, very appreciative to be seen for who I am and to be honored for my heart above all things. I think that heart is very often overlooked, but it's the thing that it can get us into trouble, but it also can keep things moving in the direction that we needed to move in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, mashallah. I'm happy to turn to Leslie.
Thank you, Dean Morrow. Before we honor our guests, I would like to take a moment to speak about the significance of the Artist of the Year award. Each year, the students and faculty of the Harvard Foundation nominate a distinguished artist to be honored as our Artist of the Year. Over the past 3 decades, a number of distinguished artists have been honored at Harvard as part of the Harvard Foundation's annual celebration, including Taraji P. Henson, John Legend, Viola Davis, Shakira, Denzel Washington, and Salma Hayek, to name a few.
Lady Gaga has already received the award, so today we are marking the occasion by recognizing her artistic and humanitarian contributions to music, film, television, fashion, self-expression, advocacy for the mental health and well-being of young people, and support for LGBTQ+ community. So I would like to formally, on behalf of the Harvard Foundation and the Office for the Arts, present Lady Gaga with the 2022 Artist of the Year Award.
Thank you. Thank you so, so much. This is a wonderful, wonderful award. It's beautiful to look at as well, just to share it with all of you. I want to say that it really touches my heart to receive this from you. Born This Way Foundation launched 10 years ago, and we were at Harvard, and we had a wonderful time with the community there, speaking about something that's very important to us, which is the building of a kinder and braver world. And what does that look like, and what does that mean? So I'd like to accept this award on behalf of all of the kinds and brave people that every single day are doing their very, very best. I think that that's something we can potentially say about all of humanity, that at any given moment, we're all trying to do the very best that we can, and that we may be brave every day, but that we also can be braver. I'd like to thank you three for being here with me today, and thank all the Harvard students that are watching. I would like to say a special thank you also to my mother, and also just a call out to education. You're all very blessed to receive the education that you are receiving. And I'm here to remind you also that there are lots of ways to educate yourself. And that you can educate yourself wide beyond just your school, in your discipline, and in the ways that you remain curious about humanity and curious about each other. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lady Gaga, so much for joining us tonight and accepting this award. We are so excited to welcome you to our Harvard Foundation family. So now we're going back to Culture Rhythms. It is time for Kumba to take the stage.
Hi guys, thank you so much. Thank you.